G'day everybody, where's Wally here? Okay, let's start with your name, Steve Falconer. Now that's way too cool for you. I shall refer to you with a more appropriate bird-related name, one derived from watching SCAMTARCTICA 1 and SCAMTARCTICA 2. Now it irks me no end that a nobody like Steve Dodo can make a video and it be totally wrong, and it gets shared around Flat Earth as if it's something great. It's not. So here, let my friend tell you about it.
Like Steve Falconer did that video called Scamarctica 2. It's completely and totally wrong. 100% wrong. He doesn't know how to use the globe. He misapplies it and just thinks he has something right. So he posts it. Has he pulled it down? Of course not. Dave Weiss reposted on his channel. Has he pulled it down? Of course not. Mark Sargent pulled it down from his channel, or put it on his channel. Has he pulled it down? No. So flat earthers are completely fine with having incorrect information if it builds their case. And so if that is the way they're going to operate, then I would back YouTube. I would say remove the videos from their search history or their watch history. Because what they're going to do is they're going to go back and look for that video to go share it to somebody, and it's wrong. So just remove all of it. It sounds crazy for me to say that, but at the same time, why should we be okay with people lying to get the truth across? We shouldn't.
And just indulge me 1 minute further. Jaren has become a ruthless machine when it comes to derp and dearth. Dave was telling the squeaking little mind shock about the SCAMTARCTICA video, and Jaren picked it from the outset that Dave had not even watched the video and hadn't the slightest idea what it was about. Now this video I'm about to rip into is about sunrise and sunset times. Now let's see what Dave imagined the main point was.
All of the bases, all of the bases that were, it's called Scamarctica 2. It's on my Flat Earth, Sun, Moon, and Zodiac channel. And
watch Dave. I'll predict. I've not seen this. He's going to say it was a great video, and it debunks. Watch. He's not watched it. He wouldn't even get it.
He basically shows all of the data on how it absolutely proves. Gleason's map. Let me just find this little spot.
Gracious, I can't take it.
He showed that where the bases are, and he looking up the exact latitude. There's always like a little
he doesn't even know what the video
outlet
is
right where it's supposed to be. Like everywhere where they say a base is, it goes right to where it's supposed to be. It's absolutely fantastic.
He has no fucking clue what that video is about. Everywhere there's an outlet, it's supposed there's an outlet there. Dave, thank you for making my video quite easy.
Rightio, let's get into the debunking stuff, shall we? Take it away, Steve Dodo. And we are listening to fKatzoid and his Jerkle fawn all over this masterpiece. These guys have not done a bit of math or checking either.
North of Rothera's 67.33 south latitude.
What he's trying to say is the one supposed to get sunlight first.
Sunlight first hits the southernmost, not the eastmost of these two stations. Steve Dodo is wrong, fKatzoid, and you and your Jerkle have just followed along, making you also wrong by proxy.
Yes.
Yep. That's all he's trying to say.
Yeah. Well, it should have. If the sun's coming in that direction, it's sticking out. Of course, it's going to.
Sun coming from that direction? Exactly. The sun is coming from the south. Did you even check the sun angles, guys?
So how do you get the sun going the opposite direction, supposedly in their videos? I don't know. I don't understand that.
Roger, there are a lot of things you don't understand, but, you know, Roger, you better hurry up and understand them. Your plane leaves for Union Glacier in December.
The thing that he's just trying to point out is the supposed data given for the globe, sunrise and sunsets and 24-hour suns and stuff, shows it to actually go against what the globe says.
Are you really sure about that, fKatzoid? Really, really sure?
Look at that, and then the way I seen it, it's as though he was okay with the 24-hour sun. I didn't give it enough time. I didn't give it enough time.
No, he said it's possible to explain
the
24-hour sun on a flat Earth.
Which it is.
It is possible.
It's possible to explain? Well, tell Jaren. He tried and he asked for months before going on TFE, and he found not a single flirter was able to do it.
The thing he's showing is that actually it debunks the globe if they're claiming the times and data that the globe is giving for all the stations in Antarctica, and it fits the flat Earth.
Fits the flat Earth? Are you serious, Chuckles? You see, Steve Dodo, what happens when you make a video With hours of maths and numbers, flurfs aren't going to watch it, but they will pat you on the back and say it's fantastic. You clearly haven't watched Steve Dodo's demo, dude. Look how he definitely states that the sun is coming around the Tropic of Capricorn and it is going to hit Vernadsky first. But in reality, it's the exact opposite. Why? Because globe.
Right.
It's actually damning against it. This is exactly why I say, let's just say we accept the 24-hour sun that they present to us, even though it's been really, really deceptive and we don't believe it. But let's just say we accept it.
Oh, there is yet to be a debunk of TFE. The best that you guys can say is there's a lot of red flags. Yeah, you raised them all and we shot them all down bar none. So, a big nothing burger yet again, yeah?
It literally shows a flat earth. So we can literally say, okay, fine, let's just say you saw the 24-hour sun. Great, good on you. Thanks for once again proving the flat earth, because you just proved it was a local stationary plane.
Nope, it showed that the sun circles around in 24 hours. Something that is literally impossible, and you know it, which is why 80% of all flurf content since TFE has been about TFE and is based on panic and cope.
The sun is local at a stationary plane, as simple as that. But we don't need to get to that right now because they didn't present to us evidence for a globe.
Dear Jerkle, we did, however, tear the gusset out of the flat earth model. The one that you won't provide, because as soon as you do provide one, it gets eviscerated. So after TFE, there was only one model left standing, and that conveniently matches every observation ever made. We call it the globe.
Nope.
I still haven't seen evidence for actual 24-hour sun. Sorry, but that's just how it is.
Now, the sun stayed up for over 24 hours. Sorry, that's just how it is. Now, I scientifically recorded it too, if you care to look at my videos.
They've got alleged
the
evidence, but we can see it's all bloody fake, that's for sure.
The thing he's showing is that there's not quite a 24-hour sun in half of the places. It's like you're not going to get a full 24-hour sun. And even in Union Glacier, they may get probably 14 to 15 hours, and that's it.
14 or 15 hours, Roger. Boy, are you in for a surprise if you ever manage to raise the money and get to Union Glacier.
One last time for those still not getting it.
That would be you, Steve Dodo.
Like everywhere else on Earth, the sun rises in the east and sets in the west in Antarctica. It's no different for these two bases on the alleged Antarctic Peninsula.
Well, Steve Dodo, that is not entirely true. The base inside the Antarctic Circle may just do some weird stuff. Be prepared for that.
The globe model says that is because these two bases are spinning from west to east towards the sun. So the sun would have to rise first at the most easterly base, Vernadsky first.
Well, unless either of these bases are further south than the Antarctic Circle. You sound like a smart man, and you will have caught and accounted for that, I am sure.
The flat earth model says both bases are sitting still and the sun is coming towards them around its tropic latitude rotation.
Oh, you're going to actually use a flat earth model? Well, that's refreshing. Normally flurfs run away shouting, "We claim no model, we claim no map." Well, do go ahead, Steve Dodo. It would be great for you to destroy the flat earth model yet again.
From the east to the west, but still has to reach the most easterly base, Vernadsky, first in the morning, then the most westernly base, Rothera, second, just the same as the globe model.
Oh, Steve Dodo, that is the big oops right there, my friend. No, just the exact opposite to the globe model. Only on a flurf map is the sun doing what you're saying it's doing. If it doesn't do that, then you have broken the FE model and validated the globe model. Go on, this could be very interesting.
Just like the sun or morning dawn cannot rise in Los Angeles or Chicago in the morning before it rises in New York City.
Hang on there, Chuckles. You seem to have stacked the deck with your choice of cities. Let me show you 3 cities that are all in mainland USA. See here, we have Miami, Florida, the most east city of these 3, and let's have a look. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, and I'm not, but isn't Miami at -80 east of Milwaukee, which is at -87.92, and it's east by nearly 8 degrees of longitude? And isn't Miami even further east than Minneapolis at minus 93.26? That's just over 13 degrees of longitudinal goodness. So, say Chuckles, isn't 13 degrees almost an hour of sun travel? You would expect the Minneapolis sun to be rising nearly an hour after Miami's sun, yes? So let's look at what time and date says here, Steve, old boy. So the sunrise on the 21st of June will be at 5:26 a.m. in Minneapolis and a little bit earlier at 5:12 in Milwaukee. And on that day, the sun rises in Miami at 5:30 a.m. and that time is adjusted to be the same zone as the other two cities. So, oh my, Steve, are you seeing this? The sun is definitely rising first in the cities west of Miami. So how is this happening in the Northern Hemisphere in June? Oh yeah, sun angles and the 24-hour sun in the north and the Arctic Circle and all that jazz. So the sun does rise in the west before it rises in the east, as I have shown. And that means you are wrong, Steve Dodo. Now what happens in the south in December, Steve? Now here's a hint before I let you go on.
And since I've never been to either base, you've never been to either base, and Jaron definitely has never been to either base, we have to just blindly take the word of the software I debunked in the last film.
Oh, Steve Dodo, don't you feel just a tad disingenuous stating that, Tosh? You certainly haven't been to either base, and while Jaron may not have been to either of those bases you mentioned, he has been further south to Union Glacier for a few days, and as such has had personal experience to put you in your place. So just stop with the rubbish. You sound so desperate.
And the closer you get to the outer ice wall or alleged South Pole, the south latitude numbers go up from 0 to 90. So Vernadsky's 65.14 south latitude is 2 degrees more north of Rothera's 67.33 south latitude. Remember, they're both on sea level.
Steve Dodo, you are trying to be tricky here. You have stated many true statements about these two locations, but boy, you sure said a lot by saying nothing at all about that one crucial line of latitude that these two locations straddle. Now, I know my subs are going gaga right about now, and I'm guessing your subs are totally derped out by now and are not watching at all. But what we see was not one mention by you of the fact that the Antarctic Circle lays between these two bases. Why did you omit that fact? In fact, you never even said Antarctic Circle at all in your whole video. I guess it won't be at all crucial though, will it, Steve?
Remember, the sun always rises and travels from east to west on both models.
Unless you're at a latitude above the Arctic Circle or below the Antarctic Circle. Oh, we can see why you didn't want to mention it, Steve. I hope you can see why now.
So no different than New York City to Chicago or Los Angeles, the sun must rise first at Vernadsky in the morning before Rothera to its west.
Yeah, it's just like Miami and Minneapolis in June. We've got some southern 24-hour goings on here, Steve Dodo.
And yet, as I pointed out in the film, every single day the impossible is being claimed.
Yeah, I agree. It's impossible for someone to be so dopey as to claim what you're claiming.
And it's not some trivial one-off clerical error. It is consistently claimed happening all year, including the month of November, when they claim Rothera suddenly starts getting 24-hour sun periods on the 28th, while Vernadsky doesn't. Hit pause and see for yourself. And also in January, when they claim Rothera finally doesn't get a 24-hour sun. Remember, Vernadsky never claims a 24-hour sun period.
Steve, seriously, you have been making almost 3 hours of videos about bases and not realized that the location above the Antarctic Circle will never experience a 24-hour sun. How have you missed these facts, Steve Dodo? How have you ignored people like me in your comments telling you about these facts, Steve Dodo?
Even when we look at Rothera base on timeanddate.com as a cross-reference to dateandtime.info, November 27th, 2024, and all dates in November preceding its alleged 24-hour sun, it has the sunrise at 2:04 a.m., which for starters should not be a half hour later in inaccuracy than dateandtime.info's 1:34 a.m. sunrise, but we have the same problem.
Oh, Steve, while you were babbling, I looked at your charts. Did you happen to notice the number in the brackets after the time on timeanddate.com? Do you know what that number is, Steve Dodo? That is the observed angle to the sun at that particular time. So have a look at Rothera. Can you see that it's setting just 7 degrees west of south and rising just 7 degrees east of south? Now that's 14 degrees of sun movement, and at 15 degrees an hour, that should be just less than 1 hour of sun below the horizon. And look at the times, 58 minutes. Hey, that's pretty good, hey, Steve Dodo. But what isn't pretty good for you, Steve Dodo, is your sun angle. Just where is that sun when it's rising again? Somewhere over here where that black arrow is pointing, I guess, but the sun is really at 173 degrees, almost due south. That is where it is observed to be. Now that's a big difference, Steve Dodo. A really big difference. Yeah, it doesn't look good for Steve Dodo. I hope you've not put a lot of work into part 3. It would be a shame for it to be wasted. Maybe you can turn it into a correction video, because that's exactly what you need to be doing, Steve.
The sun does not come up in the west first and then double back in the afternoon to be closest to the base in the east first, as it should.
You are right, Steve Dodo. It doesn't. The sun rises in the south and sets in the south, and at noon, it's in the north. Come on, it's not that hard. Ask Jaren. He gets it. He saw it. He videoed it.
Remember, they're both at sea level on the water. So the tards claiming Rothera is magically getting a sunrise an hour and 15 minutes first in the west is because it's sitting atop some Mount Everest altitude, allegedly, while Vernadsky is down in some mountainous valley, and that's ridiculously wrong.
You're right, Steve. It isn't due to elevation differences at all. It's due to Rothera being inside the Antarctic Circle and Vernadsky being outside it, something you should have realized.
No, Steve. The globe Earth's alleged 23-degree winter tilt towards the sun actually makes Rothera closer to the sun in the morning, getting its sunrise 50 minutes to an hour and 15 minutes earlier. Yeah? Then why does it magically flip back every day and make Vernadsky closer to the sun again at solar noon?
Well, Chuckles, it doesn't flip back. The sun circles around. You really should have asked Jaren. He saw it at Union Glacier. And heck, I even measured it myself.
Nowhere else on Earth at any time of year does this alleged changing tilt angle make the sun rise in the west before the east. Nowhere.
Nowhere? Really, Steve? I hope you film a correction for that, as I've already showed you the Northern Hemisphere does exactly that in the Northern Summer, and so does the Southern Hemisphere in the Southern Summer. They complement each other because that's what spheres are like.
And even the ridiculous globe model is only claiming a 23-degree tilt towards the sun in November through January, not the 70 to 90 degrees tilt needed for the sun to even rise at Rothera to the southwest in the morning before Vernadsky.
Oh, Chuckles, you are so wrong. You better go research all about Arctic and Antarctic circles and just what they mean. And why are there two of them, by the way?
So that sun's light has to reach and rise in the morning at Vernadsky first, since it is allegedly both north and east of Rothera, and only 16 minutes and a minute or two for latitude adjustment before Rothera, just like their alleged solar noon times, not an hour and 15 minutes after Rothera in the morning. That is impossible.
Oh, Chuckles, go and find out what those numbers in the brackets mean. You won't, so let me tell you. They mean you stuffed up real bad, That's what they mean.
Remember, what happens in latitude stays in latitude. So bases on the exact same alleged latitude ring or very close to each other in latitude must have the exact same or nearly exact same length of alleged 24-hour sun days in a row.
Steve, you made the same mistake for 2.5 hours in film 1. You stated that the latitude are the same or nearly the same, but look, they are nearly a whole degree different. That is a very significant difference when the sun is just skimming along the horizon and it's just half a degree wide, and you want to jump to a second location that's a whole degree different. Get out of here with your strawman tosh, Steve Dodo. Go, understand your error.
And since there's also 0 to only 36 miles maximum latitude difference between them all, and what happens in latitude must exactly match everywhere else on that same latitude.
Notice, Steve, you are showing a whole degree difference. So that is 60 nautical miles or 69 miles. What did you say? 36 miles? Where did you get that number from? It's very, very wrong. In any case, when the sun is travelling almost horizontally at sunset, just like it did at Union Glacier, as Jerkle observed, then 1 degree of change in observation position will shift the half-degree wide sun by 1 degree. Then it is easy for it to be at one location above the horizon and at the other location below the horizon.
But here's where this gets really interesting. Let's look at these bases on the Gleason flat Earth map, as there are a lot of people parroting the same orchestrated narrative that the final experiment disproves the Gleason map. I beg to differ.
Yes, it certainly does disprove the Gleason or flat map of any type. You need to show the sun's circles, Steve Dodo. That was the observation made, and so far you have failed to do that in 3 hours of cope-filled videos. Steve, you call out Jerkle's name all the way through your videos, but be aware if you say his name 3 times, he will appear. And here he is to trash your understanding, Steve Dodo. Take it away, my good friend Jerkle.
So anyway, so everywhere in the south, let me grab this. So no matter where we move that little bubble there, do you see that the sunrise and sunset doesn't change? Because they're all in the same latitude. So there is no question that you can have southeast rise, southwest sunset on the globe. Whoever's telling you that you can't is sorely mistaken. They're probably Steve Falconer.
Steve, you are a dodo.
So the other thing that Steve Falconer got wrong, let me just show that while we're here, and then we'll get back to the calls. So Steve Falconer is saying from this location here, let's go down a little bit. I don't like this thing to be over here. In the butt. Okay, so we're going to good. So that's about where Steve Falconer found those 2 spots. Oh, shoot. Can I get in there? Yeah. So, again, and he was confused that in December, or November actually is what he said. November. Let's go November down here. Okay, so in November, he was confused. He said that it's impossible for a place to be, let's actually spin this around. It'll make it easier. Okay. So now, if there's a place on this area here that is further east than the other place, he's saying it's impossible that the sunrise happens for the place in the west before it happens for the place in the east. Okay? And that's an intuitive thing to say, or it kind of makes sense. You would think in your head, like, yeah, the sun always goes east to west, and therefore the sun would always be hitting the east item first. But that's not how the globe works. So if you have to learn how the globe works before you get crazy. So we're going here. And now we're going to go through the time, and we're going to watch the sun rise. Okay. So watch the little sunrise as it comes up, and you'll notice that watch this area here is going to get light before this area here. And that is meaning that the item on the west gets the sun before, I'm going this way. Okay. So you see it. Look at the light hitting it. Oops, let me go up here and do it. There we go. So you'll see that the light hits there in the west first. Look at that whole side of this whole side is actually lit up first. Look at that side will get lit before this, and this is more east. And so his whole video should come down. It's garbage.
What a dodo. That is you, Steve.
It's a garbage. Watch the sun come around, and watch when we go through the night. I don't know why this thing keeps going down there. Oh, it does go to the next one. Okay. So there, you'll notice that it's kind of dark, and then you'll see it gets light, but then the place over there gets spruce, right? So right there, look, it's still dark where the red cross is, and then it's going to be light here. See, south of that and west of that is light, and then it goes to there. So if he understood the globe and even did this one time, he would figure it out and you'd take the video down. But he doesn't have that in his best interest, I guess.
Steve, you're such a dodo.
Let me just show you one other thing, just because I think this is crazy. And talking to a guy yesterday, he was like shocked. He's like, "You sure?" I'm like, "Yeah." Look up here. This is your daylight hours. Okay. Isn't it weird that if we can just go to, oh, that's time. Let's go to December 21st or somewhere around there. And now let's move the item to up here. Okay, we'll grab this and go. Okay, so watch up there. What does that daylight hour show? It shows 0 because we're in the southern summer. You notice daylight hours are 0. Now watch as I bring this down. It's just going directly down. And watch the time. It goes from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. It's perfect. 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 24. Now, if this was wrong, somebody would say so. Easily. It's what SunCalc says. It's all this stuff. So how could we be living on any other structure if the two poles just work the opposite way? It goes from 0 to 24. Then guess what? If we move the date now to, we're going to go to the date to June 21st. We're about there. You'll notice that the same thing just flips. So now we've got latitude. What's the longitude? I want to do latitude. Okay, so now watch it. We're at latitude 90, and you'll notice that the daylight hours are 0. And now we work back up, and it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And then on top of that, if we go to the equinox, which is going to be March 31st, I'm sorry, March 17th, date March 17 in there somewhere, or March 20th, somewhere in there. Close enough. But now look at this, the hours for the entire globe. So you'll notice up here where it says 24. Now look at 12, 12, 12, 12, 12, 12, 12, 12, 12, 12, 12, 12, 12, 12, 12, 12, 12. Ladies and gentlemen, you live on a sphere.
Steve, you are a dodo.
The north is the opposite of the south. 6 months later, they work as a symmetrical unit. If you go to one particular line up here, and then you go to that line down here, it's identical. If you stay on the same latitude, how about this? Let me show you this. I'm going to move this up here. Okay, let's just go to this line right here. And, well, let's go to a different date so we're not on an equinox. Let's go, whoops, that's not what I want to do. Good date. Let's just go to a random date over here in October. Now look at the daylight hours are 11:03, and I'm going to move the latitude. I'm going to go longitude. Watch what happens to the daylight hours.
And what happens in latitude must exactly match everywhere else on that same latitude.
They're identical. So everybody who lives on a certain line of latitude has the same daylight hours every day. You know, I mean, the next day it might be 11:04, whatever. And then you can go to anywhere. Just drop this down to wherever you want to go.
Steve, you're such a dodo. Well, enough of this guy. Steve, you are a dodo. Get out of here. Bye.